going to be installing the Experimental Designs Freedom Locker on my 2019 TRD Pro. It's going to allow me to lock the rear differential outside of 4x4. So at any time I can lock it. This does take out the ability to use your factory rear diff light on your dash. So I'm going to do the optional dash mod into the cluster. I'm going to replace the current LED for the rear diff lock with an LED that this kit comes with. They do offer this mod for the Tacoma, the Tundra, the Sequoia, the FJ, and the 5th Gen 4Runner. Check out their website, make sure it fits your model before you order. Let's get into the install. Going over what you're going to be needing for your install today. Got your Experimental Designs kit, harness. This is the LED light that's going to go into the cluster. You can also install this onto your dash anywhere. You just got to drill a hole. If you do the cluster mod, you can reverse it back to factory if you decide you want to sell your truck or not use this mod any longer. You're going to need 10mm ratchets, your wire cutters. This is going to be for your zip ties. This is optional. I may use it, I don't know. Phillips head screwdriver. We got our trim pop tools from Dynamics. And then we have our wire snippers, but I'm only going to use the end to pinch the vampire clip. First step, I'm going to disconnect the battery. All right, step number 2, we're going to be installing the differential harness, the 2-pin connector. So we got to go under the rear end of the truck, unplug the 2-pin connector, plug this in, and then we got to run this to the front of the vehicle. So we got our 2-pin connector right here. Just pinch here, wiggle, pull up. All right, so we're gonna take our harness that was supplied right here. We're gonna get this guy plugged right in. Snaps in, you wanna make sure you hear that snap. And then we are going to plug the top into here. There we go. You want to hear that snap when you connect those. And then we'll run this black wire up the front of the car, up that way. We have our 2-pin cable here, and the harness is running up this black guy, the harness, the wire harness. It's going up here. We're going over here, through the harness, behind this heat shield for the exhaust. There's the wire there, along this line. It's gonna come up through here. Meets us back here, comes over here. I have my ditch lights wired in, so I just use the same route. And then we went up over the frame rail, and I connected it into my wiring harness for my ditch lights. And then we're gonna pull this guy off. This is our little grommet that goes into the under the driver's seat. So I'm gonna pull this off, just like that. We're gonna pop a hole in there, and then we're gonna feed the wire through. To get the wire in to the cab, we need to remove this trim piece to get to the grommet that's underneath the seat. So we're gonna pull out our floor mats. God, it's dirty. And then we're gonna start popping this trim piece off. Just need to grab and pull. This piece just kind of swings off. And then under here, you're gonna see that grommet hole. See if I can poke my finger through it. Hello! That's where the cable is gonna come through. And then we'll wire the cable through here and up into here. Everyone might have a different method here to get a hole through the grommet. You can either use an X-Acto blade or you can use a poker. We're gonna try the X-Acto blade first, make our little slit. And then we'll use this guy just to open the hole up a little bit. and then we'll pass the wire through. All right, so the grommet has a nice tight hole in it. I really don't want to sacrifice the hole right there. So I'm going to try to use some heat shrink tube over on top of the sheathing here to hopefully make this small enough and tight enough to where I can fit the sheathing through the grommet and not have the problem I'm having right now where the sheathing's pulling back and not pushing through the grommet. So let's give this a try, see what happens. All right, give that a go. Yeah, got him. I'm gonna pull this wire. I'm going to feed it through the hole now. Let's see where the wire is coming through. Cool, we have enough wire fed through. We'll put the grommet back on and then we'll pull the rest of the wire in. Go. And now we got the wire through the grommet. We're gonna just run it right along here and up into the dash. Next, passenger side. Remove the door sill trim, and then we'll remove the kick panel, and we'll also pull the floor mat. Let's pull from the front. These just pop out with clips. You really can't break them. Sometimes you do. Got those out. You see the clips on the bottom here. Put that aside. And then this guy we need to remove. There's a little pop screw here. Remove with your hand. See if I can get this LED light on. There we go. So that looks like. Just put that aside. And then this should pop right out. Go. There we are. Don't lose this. Put this somewhere. I'm just gonna put it in my cup holder. Now we're gonna start removing parts of the dash. Tip, move your seats back before you start this. Just give yourself a little bit more room on the driver's side and the passenger side. Now we have to remove some panels. We're gonna start here. We're gonna work our way over and we're gonna remove these panels and then we're gonna drop the glove box. So we're gonna start by pulling on the inside here. And this should just pop right out with clips, just like that. Then this piece here, just pull from the top, pull down, and off it comes. All right, next piece we have to pull off is this one here. Just gonna pull from the top, and then it pops right off these clips, and then it comes out the back here. And now this gives us access to these two bolts, 1, 2, and the third bolt here to drop the airbag. All right, so we're gonna loosen these 3 bolts so we can drop the airbag down. All right, next is to pop the airbag out. There are clips holding this in. I'm gonna use some pry tools here to find these clips. Now that we have this out, we are not gonna unplug it. We're just gonna leave it as is right here. Don't touch it. Next, we're gonna remove the glove box. Go ahead and open your glove box, remove everything within it. All right, so for the glove box, we have 2 bolts here, 1, 2. Then when you open this up, you'll also have these covers right here, 1, 2, and 3 for the bolts that we also need to remove. Well, I don't think you're gonna break them. I mean, I just pulled that one so hard and it sounded like it was gonna break in half. Get your shit in there, pull them hard. Hope for the best. Now just to start removing the bolts. Let's start with the bottom ones. Just pull from the bottom here. You do have clips up top, so you're just gonna release those. There we go. And I'm gonna loosen this guy just so I can let this thing sit down below. So I don't want it to break anything. So you guys can see what I'm looking at. So we have this guy right here. I want to try to get that out so I can just let this glove box hang. There we go. Now that the glove box is removed, we need to locate the 4x4 control box. I'm gonna bring you in here. So for the 4Runner, the 5th gen, it's gonna be right up here in the top of your dash. If I pull out, you can see where it's at, right here. So we're gonna remove the 40 pin, 10 pins right here. So you have these little push pins up top, just push those in. The connectors come right out. Oh, there we go. All right, so getting down low, you'll hear that clip. You'll hear the pin clip out once you got that, and then you can just wiggle it out. That's what I was waiting to hear. Finally got it. All right, so now we can grab our harness. Now that the 40 pin and the 10 pin connectors are free, we're gonna connect the Freedom Locker harness in line with the 4-wheel drive module and the factory harness. We have the Freedom Locker harness here. You're gonna connect the 40 pin and the 10 pin, both of these. We're gonna plug them into the module, and then the black piece, the 40 pin, is gonna connect to the factory harness, and then the white clear looking 10 pin is gonna connect to the 10 pin connector from the factory harness. I'm gonna connect the 10 pin first since it's up top. A little more difficult to get to. Boom, that's in. Then we're gonna connect the 40 pin. You should hear both of these click. Now, the 10 pin is a loud click. The 40 pin is not as loud. And now we are going to connect the factory harness in here. Boom, that clicked. Now we need to find this one here. It's gonna connect again. Black factory is going to go to the clear 10 pin. You can hear that click as well. Boom. All right, so we're good there. And now we'll just tuck these up in. Make some room for the rest of these modules to get plugged in. Next one, we have the click. We have to plug in the little box, the control box. So let's get that going. Now we have the little control box. We're gonna get that plugged in. Make sure that that sits nice and is grabbed by the teeth here, which it is. And then we'll get this push all up in here and hidden. We're gonna work on getting all this push back up in here, and then we'll be back. So the module is all connected. We have 2 wires now coming out. You have a blue-ended wire, and you have the Vampire clip-in wire. This wire is going to be for the traction control. This is optional. Your system will work without this. But if you want your traction control to turn off with your diff lock on, which is recommended, you would want to connect this to the traction control cable. Now for the blue wire, this is going to connect to the other side of the LED that's included in the kit. I'm going to run mine under the dash. It's actually going to go through, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's an opening there, and it will run to the driver's side. So we'll need to pull some panels off the driver's side. Let's run this blue wire first, and then we will run the traction control wire to the top here. All right, so this is the red wire for the traction control. The blue wire, I ran down this harness, zip tying it along the way, through this harness here, zip tied along the wire harness that goes under, connected to this harness here, zip tied again, and then also zip tied up here on the harness. So that when I put the panel back on, it tucks up under the panel, and then this wire is going to run through this opening to the driver's side. So now we're gonna go ahead and pull off some panels on the driver's side so we can run that wire through. On the driver's side now, we're gonna pull this panel off. Again, just a few clips here, and then it pulls off the back like that. And now we have access to this panel, so then we're gonna fish that line through. Hard to see, but the line did come through, and now we have it on this side, so we'll just pull the remainder out. Now we're gonna run the traction control wire up the dash through the A-pillar, in the headliner, and then over to the track off button where we're gonna vampire clip it in. We have 2 covers here to uncover the bolts. We're gonna pull the bolts, we're gonna pull the A-pillar off, and then we're gonna tuck the wire into the wire harness grabbers inside here. Let's pull these covers off. 1. Now that we have our traction control wire ran, we need to pull off this panel piece. First, we need to pull off this here to get to the screws so we can pull it back. And this panel just kind of kicks right off. Undo that clip. And now we have your bolts right here that we need to remove, and then this panel comes out. Now this pops right out. Now you have access to your control unit. Traction control button is over here on this side. And then what we will be doing is going in and using this purple wire right here, 3rd from the left. That's what we are going to vampire clip into. We're gonna pull back this wire loom a little bit more so we have better access to it. So the wire loom was pulled back. We had that purple wire located. We used the T-tap, the vampire clip. We plugged it in, squeezed it down, and then we plugged in the cable that we ran up the A-pillar and through the headliner trim. We are back on the driver's side. We have this blue wire that ran through the center console hole from the passenger side. We connected that wire to one of the wires in the LED that was supplied with the kit. It doesn't matter which wire that goes to. We have the black wire, the ground wire that ran up from the diff up into through the grommet, through this channel and back into here. Connected that to the other side of this light. So now we are good to test out the system and make sure it works before we put everything back together. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start the truck. It might die. You gotta start it again because you disconnected the battery. That's normal. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the diff lock button, this guy here. You're gonna hear a series of clicks from the module that's in this area. I tucked it up into the dash, and then we should see the lights turn on, the traction control off lights. So we'll go ahead and hit the button. And if you heard the control module click the first time to turn the track off and then fully turn the track off. Now we're gonna go ahead and put it into drive. Oh, so good thing is that the diff actually locked itself right away. This could take some time depending on your vehicle and how often you drive it. If you are locking that diff every weekend, then you're most likely going to have this thing lock pretty quickly. But normally you'd have to drive forward, you'd have to drive backward, you have to turn the wheel left and right pretty hard, pretty aggressively to get that diff to lock. Now that we've tested the system, you can go ahead and get this light installed, either drilling into your dash, or what we're gonna do, remove the factory diff lock LED in the speedometer. So we're gonna pull the speedometer out. We're gonna get this guy installed into the speedo, into the factory rear locker location. Now we are on to installing the dash light into the speedo and the factory LED light location. We need to take off some trim pieces first. First one being this here. So this is just gonna pull in from this side. Then we're gonna come over here. We are going to pull this piece off, then this piece. Then we'll be able to access this and pull this back. There's the little flap back here that we're gonna need to unclip as well. They are vertical clips. So just grab this here on the inside of the wheel. You can actually move the wheel back at this part, which makes this a lot easier to get to. Put your hand in here. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. There we go. And pop that back out. You don't need to pull that one fully off. We'll go ahead and now pull this piece off here. That comes out fully. Now you can get your fingers back up in here. You can also use a pry bar. Myself, I'm gonna use this little trim popper piece. I'm just gonna come in from the side here, behind this piece, and try to pop it. You can already see it moving, so I'll slide it in the top. There we go. And then that will pull completely out. There we go. There's 4 clips on the back. Now that those 2 pieces are out, we can pull the Speedo cluster surround out. That's just a simple tug here on the top and on the bottom on both sides. There are 4 clips total, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then there is additional 2 on the bottom on this side and on the left side. And then you have this flap back here that needs to get pushed upwards. I like to start from this side, work myself around. Just put your hands back, your fingers back there and pop it up. And now that whole piece comes off. Gonna try to use my automatic tool here just to remove these. But you have this clip that now needs to get removed. The push pin is on the back and that just comes right out. And there's your cluster. So now we can move over to the bench, get this thing pulled apart and install our light on the back side. All right, so now that we have the cluster out, go ahead and flip it over. What we're gonna do, we have the LED, this is what's gonna go in there. This little red piece separates from this black piece. You just twist the black and that comes right out. This is all you're gonna be using. This can be set aside. What I'm also gonna do, found that you could pull this red piece off. From there, we're gonna remove some screws from the back clear plastic piece. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that we're gonna be pulling out. There are some clips. There's one on this side, one over here. There's a 3rd one right here, actually. And now this back piece should come off. There we go. All right, so now we got the motherboard right here. And we have our cluster. We have a little ribbon cable right here. These normally you use like something like a black stick. You pop this black piece up. You got to do it very carefully because these are notorious for breaking. And then this ribbon cable pulls out. I don't know if we need to do that step yet. There are clips all the way around this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna pull the ribbon cable. And again, just slightly working this till I can get this to lift, just like that. And then the ribbon cable just kind of pulls right out like that. Pull that out of the way. Make sure you don't bend that crazy. If you do, you are more than likely screwed. I'll bring you down here so you can see what I'm looking at. Right in there, you can see the LED. It's right there. We're gonna go right into that channel. I should be able to just slide this in now. So we don't need to pull this off. I should just be able to slide this in. All right, so just got that in. I just pried this up a little bit, bent the tip, and just kind of just wedged it in there a little bit. Split this far enough where it's not coming into contact with the OEM LED. And so that this kind of just snaps right back down like that. What I can do real quick is plug this in to the car, see if it works. So let's go.
Moment of truth. Let's see if this stuff works.
All right. Bash is definitely working. This is what I was scared of. but it's working. I'm gonna bring it down here. Diff lock. Trac is turning off. Traction control's off. Now, see if we can get the diff to lock or not. Yup. And look at that. We are locked, baby. Looks factory, huh? Now it's all about running the cables. I ran the black wire that comes from the diff. Now the blue wire is a little bit more difficult. There's very little room, but basically I'm gonna fish it through this channel here and then pulling up through here and then work on routing it. All right, so we got both wires ran through. We got our blue, we got our black from the diff, from the control module. And then we have our LED lights. I'm gonna use these carrot tops. Super lame to use, but that's what I'm gonna use right now. All right, got everything buttoned up. Go ahead and turn the car on. Cluster's still working. We're gonna press this diff lock button right here. Watch the lights turn on. Put it in drive. And there's the locker. We are game on, baby. Experimental Designs, Freedom Locker, 5th Gen 4Runner.